This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, June 16th, 2023. We're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I talk with National Pork Producers Council President Scott Hayes just a bit on the state of the industry and how we're supposed to react to that Prop 12 news. Lots of great discussion there. We also take a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're joined by Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. First off, Kaden, how are the grain markets looking today?
It's been an absolutely crazy week, Riley. This freight train of weather markets full steam ahead right now. Another day where you got new crop corn up 25 cents, new crop beans up 50 cents. They're up just $1 in the last 2 days, about $1.35 on the week. It's been absolutely crazy, and it's really only going to get a little bit more dramatic, with the 3-day weekend. The market's going to be holding its breath all weekend long.
Right, and with today being the 16th, that means we're already looking into July's weather a little bit. Now, are the markets reacting to kind of more of the upfront weather with that dryness, or are they looking at July and not liking what they see?
Yeah, kind of both, and it's been really tricky the last 2 weeks. About any meteorologist you talk to scratching their head because the 10-14 day forecast will show some rain and then they won't verify, and so that's happened a couple times now, and it's getting to the point where the market is kind of in prove it to me mode. They're not gonna bet on the rain until it's fallen from the sky, and it's just been crazy as corn and beans both are checking the 200-day moving averages today. That's when the big money is, kind of starting to get involved. You can tell from the last day or two trade where it's just kind of been accelerated altogether.
Well, and anyways, with the rain, a lot of it comes in the form of severe weather, which you can't predict anyways. So I imagine once we, get that rain through that severe weather, if something passes through the corn belt, we're probably going to see, action the other way, right?
Yeah, you'd think, and then I'm by no means a weather guy, but with the El Nino pattern, expected to happen, I've kind of seen just people talking about that pattern is around. It's just more out in the Western Corn Belt, Nebraska, Kansas. It's not making its way east yet to Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. Still kind of getting held up by some ridges there. So, in theory, that should break down, I guess they say, just by the El Nino definition. But again, the market's not really going to bet on it until it sees it come to fruition.
And what have you seen from producers in your area? Because Dustin was just mentioning earlier today that he's seen pictures from eastern Iowa where their corn is pretty much dried up at this point.
Yeah, my area, we're in pretty good shape, thankfully, but you don't have to get too far away, and it starts drying up. Exactly right. I don't think you're toast by any means. We get some rains here the next week or two. This thing can definitely be saved, but again, it's getting to the point, like you said, we're almost in July. Guys that got planted pretty early, pollinations is not too far around the corner, and so I think this is. I don't want to be too dramatic saying make or break, but this is a very important weekend. Just looking forward through the rest of the growing season, whether we see a 2012 rally or a 2013 sell-off.
Right. We just know that every year there's that intense volatility with the weather market, and this year seems to be a great example of that. On the other side of things, how are the livestock markets doing today?
Yeah, we've really been led by the hog market finally after so many months of just getting crushed. They've had a great 3-week run here, up close to $20. They put another $3 on this week on the July contract, up about $1 today. So that's a great look. Fats and feeders a little bit more quiet. They're both up, anywhere around 75 cents or so a piece. But really, technically, you got kind of a tale of two stories where hogs are gaining support from the 20-day moving average, checking the 100-day. On the other hand, the cattle market's kind of falling beneath that 20-day and checking how it goes. So really, for the first time in a long time, technically speaking, the hog market's a little bit more healthier than the cattle right now.
But of course, we have that impending, final, how do I want to say, kind of upholding of Prop 12 and getting that incorporated into the industry. Is that posing a significant risk to or a threat to those elevated hog prices right now?
I think it definitely could. We hogs had been sold off for a long time, and then Prop 12 came out, and they sold off. I don't even remember, another $10 probably. So it come to a point, where the funds just sell so long and finally switch. You've seen that, I think, recently, kind of some technical buying. Could Prop 12 factor in some more selling? I think it definitely could. But on the other hand, you got to think at least a little bit. Maybe we've seen the worst of it, just coming off of such a sell-off, both technically and from Prop 12. You'd like to think hopefully that low will stay in.
All right, lots of great information today, Kaden. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Yep, just go to agmarket.net. You can reach myself, any of our brokers from there. Pretty important time of the year, so we welcome any phone calls that people may have.
Great talking with you as always, Kaden, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley. Have a great weekend.
That again was Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, July corn is up 17 even at 640 and a quarter. December new crop up 23 even at 597 and a half. July soybeans up 38 and a quarter at 1466 and a half. November new crop up 50 even at 1342 and a quarter. July soybean meal up 22 and a quarter at 416.40. July soybean oil up 126 at 59.69. Chicago wheat up 26 and a half at 688 even. Minneapolis spring wheat up 20 and 3/4 at 853 and a half. Kansas City hard red wheat up 29 and a quarter at 842 even. July oats up 1 and a quarter at 404 and a half. On the Merc, August live cattle up 65 at 171.72. August feeders up 80 at 234.92. July lean hogs up 92 at 92.85. August pork cutout up 35 at 97.42. July class 3 milk down 7 cents at 15.31. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with National Pork Producers Council President Scott Hayes. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. At this year's World Pork Expo, I had the chance to talk with National Pork Producers Council President Scott Hayes about the state of the industry. Obviously, Prop 12 was a big topic of discussion, but we also talked about how advocacy plays an important part in making sure that decisions like those don't happen in the first place. We are here at day one of the World Pork Expo in Des Moines at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and we're talking with Scott Hayes. He's the National Pork Producers Council president. Now, we just had that first policy session at the FFA building just to talk about kind of state of the industry and what's going on right now. Obviously, Prop 12, a very big issue right now, and we had lots of great discussion on that. But just overall, what was kind of the initial reaction to that, disappointing Prop 12 decision that you guys had?
It's certainly very disappointing. As I said earlier this morning, that's probably the low point in my tenure on the board of directors, was when we got that ruling. As we've said all along, and I'll continue to say, Proposition 12 is not good for the pigs, it's not good for producers, and it's not good for consumers. Nobody wins on this deal.
Right, and that was a big point that I really appreciated from that is, it's the consumer that's going to see a ton of, really consequences from this, because they're going to see their bacon prices go up, their pork prices go up in general. And, as you mentioned during the conference, that's going to really affect especially those lower income families who are relying on pork as a, affordable and very nutritious meat source. So, this is one of those, it was a very nearsighted decision that I don't think they considered how that's going to impact not just the pork industry, but the consumers as well.
Sure. What the consumers in California were asked on the ballot initiative was, do you want animals raised for food to be raised humanely? I think we would all vote yes on that. But the devil's always in the details, and the ramifications of that are going to be far-reaching. So what the California consumers going to be asked or going to be have to do is pay for the added cost of that. The issue is they only eat a small portion of the pig, but they're going to bear the cost on the entire pig because nobody else is going to pay that. Our trading partners aren't going to pay it. Consumers in the rest of the country aren't going to pay it. So they're going to see added cost to the products, which is so unfortunate.
Well, I mean, we see on the producer side as well, this was not a science-based decision. I believe it was just a 4 square foot increase to the amount of space that those breeding sows need. So obviously, I mean, a very marginal change. But with that change, that's going to affect especially those smaller scale producers who they can't afford to make that change. And as previously mentioned in that panel, we already have foreign interests that are coming in and seeing the access because they can make that change. They can afford to make that. But those smaller scale producers aren't going to be able to absorb that cost.
We're just starting to get the rules, the details of the rules coming out of California, and there's several changes. You mentioned the added square footage, which is real, and that you either have to reduce the number of animals on your farm or add building space. And how do you pay for that building space? You're not going to produce any more pigs. But there's also requirements on how sows are housed, and so we have kind of forces you to blend sows right after weaning, which is not a good time to do that. Not a good time to pin them up. That also really limits you on taking care of those sows that need extra care. It's going to be a challenge to get them into an individual pen for a long enough period of time for them to recover. And as every producer knows, sows are bullies. So there's going to be a sow picked on. There's going to be a sow that needs extra care, needs individual care, and that's going to be a challenge with the Prop 12 rules.
Right, and I just talked with CEO Brian Humphreys about this, but in that decision, Supreme Court did say that there were issues with Prop 12, but they said, well, it's not our problem, it's a problem you need to bring up with Congress and have legislation on that side of things. So what have you seen, or kind of what's in the works for legislation that we could see to kind of counteract the issues we're going to get from Prop 12?
We're just getting started on that process. We're looking at different options. As we all know, government moves slow, and that's probably a good thing because when they move fast, they don't always get it right. But so Prop 12 is going to be implemented. We're gonna have to figure it out. We're going to have to live with it for a while, but we are encouraged that we have people in Congress that recognize this is a problem and that they want to help us fix it, and we'll get there, but that's going to take some time to get that done in a manner that really fixes it.
Right, and then, outside of Prop 12, what other things have we seen, kind of going on in the industry right now? Because, I mean, we have seen some fairly decent exports as well, right?
Sure, exports have been really good this year. Our Mexican friends have taken a lot of product. China's taken more product, and which is good. We've also been able to get more product into India and Nigeria because of some trade deals that we were able to work on. We got tariffs lowered a little bit in Vietnam. We were able to move some more product that way. So yeah, exports have been good. That's been a bright spot. Winning on WOTUS at the Supreme Court is a big deal. To finally get that put behind us, hopefully, and get clarity there, allow producers the freedom to operate, the freedom to run their farm the way it needs to be run. That's big. We've been very busy. We've testified in front of Congress twice in the last few weeks, which on the Farm Bill and on trade. So I think we've made some headway there as well.
And then on that export side of things, especially with those foreign markets, they're really interested in those diversified meat cuts, right? They're looking at the things that maybe we aren't thinking of really as well in the States.
Sure. So exports is all about product mix. I like to say that, your bacon and your ribs are at lower cost because we have exports. We don't export the whole pig. We export the parts and pieces that we don't enjoy as much in this country as folks in other countries do. We're very fortunate that the Mexican consumers enjoy our hams. They're also taking some shoulders now. They eat it a little differently than we do, but that cut works really well for them. The Japanese like our loins. And China takes other parts and pieces that we just don't enjoy as much in this country. So, and all that adds value back to the carcass and value back to the producers. And so that's why it's so important.
And then one last thing, like you mentioned with WOTUS, that was just a great victory against government overreach, right?
Sure. Yeah. When they're literally wanting to regulate mud puddles and ditches on our farms, that's a challenge. Producers, what land values are. I think most Americans know what land values are, and that's our asset. That's our the engine. And we're going to take care of that. And we've been on the land a long time. We know our farm, and we know what needs to be done there. We don't need this government overreach coming in and telling us they know better, and coming in with a one-size-fits-all approach on our farms. We'll do the right thing because it's our livelihood.
All right, Scott, lots of great information today. Is there anything else you'd like to let our listeners and viewers know when it comes to either World Pork Expo or just the pork industry in general?
Well, I hope everyone has an opportunity to get out here to the expo and see what's new, visit with other producers. I know, challenging times are on us, but it helps to get around other producers that understand, what's going on, where you're at, and visit. And I hope we have some good times here. We get to see some old friends and just enjoy a few minutes here.
And of course, hopefully it's not as hot this year as it usually is for that Pork Expo. Scott, thanks for taking the time to visit with us today, and good luck with the rest of this event.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you being here and covering it and keeping everyone informed on our issues.
That again was National Pork Producers Council President Scott Hayes. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. For this Father's Day weekend, you can expect to see a few storms around the state, just kind of scattered showers and thunderstorm conditions. Now, if your father is a farmer, that could be a pretty good gift for Father's Day weekend, as we know that most of the state has been needing that rain. But of course, don't hold your breath. We never know when those rains will come through and where they will hit. So let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, we could have a little bit of a rainy Father's Day weekend. Today, the skies are mostly sunny and warm, highs ranging from the upper 70s to upper 80s. Tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with a chance for storms in the west, lows ranging from the low 50s to low 60s. And tomorrow, those storms will continue to move east through the state. It'll be partly sunny with a chance for showers and storms across most of the state, with highs ranging from the low to upper 80s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will see a chance for storms and a high of 81. Shenandoah, storms and showers, high of 85. Des Moines, chance for thunderstorms and 87. Waterloo, mostly sunny, then a chance for storms and 87. Albion, much of the same, mostly sunny, chance for storms and 87 as well. And Clinton will see mostly sunny skies with a high of 84. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. Just as a reminder, we will not have an episode on Monday since the markets will be closed for Juneteenth. You can find all of our daily content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching and wish all of the fathers a happy Father's Day. This is Ag Matters PM.